outline of the katazome dyeing process using Katagami, Mamiko Markham. Looking at kimonos, it is easy to see that great skill and artistic ability are behind the production of such beautiful garments. In Japan, both woodblock printing and Katagami stencil dyeing were undertaken before the 17th century, but during the Edo period, especially as a result of the joining together of Japan and no more fighting, Katagami stencil dyeing was actively developed on a huge scale. This wave motif Katagami was highly technical, and master carvers used it for kimono patterns for geisha girls in the Edo period in the 19th century. This is the Hokusai kimono pattern named Kiko, shown here top left and featured in the ukiyo-e at center. Did become a kimono pattern from an existing Katagami on the right. Ukiyo-e artist Katsushika Hokusai is famous for his great waves and landscapes, but he also published many sketchbooks and works of women wearing beautiful kimonos and kimono pattern books for Katagami makers. His works were essential in the golden age of kimono production in the Edo period. Hokusai and other ukiyo-e artists portrayed the most fashionable kimonos worn by celebrity kabuki actors and courtesans. After that, Katagami makers soon imitated the patterns. These were then sold by Katagami merchants to dyers and soon after appeared in kimono shops. But how were these kimonos dyed? Today I focused on katazome, a traditional dyeing method using Katagami, handed down from the Edo period. In particular, it discusses the use of rice resist paste as a way to protect the fabric from the dye when the dye comes into contact with the fabric where coloring is not required. Katazome is a Japanese method of dyeing fabrics using a resist paste applied through Katagami stencils. It is an art form whereby patterns are created through a complicated process, drawing patterns, then producing Katagami, and then placing resist paste over the blank area so that dye will not reach. It requires several different important processes. Many talented and highly skilled craftspeople were involved in developing this katazome method over many centuries in Japan. Katagami were used for many years for decorating yukata summer kimonos, edokomon, usually silk or raiment textiles dyed with tiny kiribori repeating patterns and silks. In the dyeing studio, the completed katagami is placed on the fabric, and the sticky rice paste resist is applied with a spatula. The katagami is then lifted and replaced with the bottom of the cut-out pattern, level with the top of the printed resist pattern. This is repeated around 50 to 60 times along the 12-meter bolt of fabric needed to make a kimono, forming a continuous pattern. The firm Okoshi Katagami Incorporated maintains a collection of old drawing designs. This fascinating material allows us to compare the drawing designs with the actual katagami. The Katagami illustrated is part of a set of 3, a design for a woman's summer kimono made in the 19th century. It has been colored to assist in showing the completed dye fabric. It would be the first Katagami to be used to apply resist paste to the fabric. The images described next are digitally created to indicate impairs the application and effect. The first Katagami used to apply resist paste to the fabric where it will not receive any coloring. The yellow shading indicates the applied resist paste on the fabric. When it has dried, the second Katagami is used. The second Katagami, the process differs from usual practice. Colored dye, in this case, black is applied directly through the Katagami. Fabric after both resist paste from the first Katagami and black dye application from the second Katagami. The third Katagami, indigo dark blue, is applied directly onto the fabric through Katagami. The fabric with dark blue color added. The completed design on fabric. The whole fabric has been dyed in light blue indigo color and the resist paste washed out, intended for dyeing 4 colors. The open work areas of the 3 Katagami display a well-developed design, particularly towards keeping the white background of the kimono by applying resist with the first Katagami, and it is necessary to use a precise open work design plan at the pattern creation stage before carving. Dyeing techniques using Katagami are inherited down to today. When you visit Kyoto or Tokyo, you might be able to see them. Christopher Dresser and Alice Hart already researched and documented this technique in the 19th century and left interesting notes. My research on Katagami highlights their perspectives on Katagami dyeing, which I hope to share with you here on the Katagami Network. Thank you for your time today.